This is my first video with the theater setup, and I wanted to cover something that I am in a very unique position to cover. How much room size matters. I've put curtains up, I've got furniture in here, so as you can see, I've got less echo than the last video. This is a blank slate, and yeah, it's a little echoey in here right now because the house is completely empty, but this is the new studio. But the crux of this video, does room size matter when it comes to dual ported deep bass subwoofers? I've got the PB17 Ultras here. I was going to send them back, but then when this house became a reality, I'm like, I want to hang on to them just a bit longer because I want to find out how much of a difference does it make going from a small room to a large room. Am I going to notice a dramatic difference? One of the things I'll point out too is that I've got these set outboard where in the past I usually have them, inboard. Believe it or not, I think that might make a difference. But what I can tell you is this: there is no gain that I'm getting in this room that I didn't get in this small room or even the motorhome. This is a nice big room. It's not the largest room I've done a home theater in, but it's definitely good size. There's got a vaulted ceiling, this beautiful wall here to work with. But all of the benefits that you get when you go from, say, a PB1000 Pro to something like the Flagship PB17s or, say, the PB5000s, you're going to get more of that punch, that kick, that realism. It's just more effortless. And I am really surprised at how these do with music. It's been a pleasant surprise. The PB16, it did sound better with music, but not to the same extent that these do. I think the dual amplifier in each cabinet, it just has more control, and the dual voice coils, I think it just lends to a lot more of that detail that you didn't quite get from the 16 Ultra. And the 16 Ultras were amazing. Even the PB2000s or PB1000s, those are phenomenal with music. I just happen to notice more of that quality coming from the PB17s. But room size does not matter as much as you think it does when it comes to smaller rooms. Again, going matched duals. You go with a single, you're going to be in the comments section saying, I have this problem and I can't get rid of it. That's because you need to run duals, okay? And they need to be matching. Think of it like tires. If you got one set of tires on your right side and a different set of tires on the left, it's not optimal. And the more different they are, the worse the handling is going to be. You want the same tires all the way around. You want that same performance. And that's the same type of thing when it comes to bass. You want the subwoofers to couple, and the more perfectly they couple, the better it sounds. I had the unique opportunity to go from a very small room with the PB17 Ultras to a very large room with the PB17 Ultras. Was I like, man, small rooms suck? No, small rooms are just fine. In fact, you can get a little bit more detail. The further away you are from your speakers, the less detail you get. The motorhome was one of the best theaters I've had so far. And it's still true. Like right now, I've got this rattle in this window that I'm not able to fix without replacing the whole window because it's got a spring inside and that thing rattles. In the motorhome, I didn't have any of that. I had no rattles. In the houses, I've had rattles from the other rooms. I've had rattles from doors, everything. Luckily, this is the only rattle I have in this room is just this window. I'm real happy with it. I love the wall-to-wall carpeting. It's fantastic. If you're sitting there thinking, I've got this small room and everyone's saying that two more powerful subs are going to be overbearing, there's a volume dial. You can adjust the volume on the subs. And honestly, from the smallest room I've run to the largest room I've run, I might run a little bit more gain in a bigger room, a little bit. Other than that, it's all about relativity, and it's all about doing good room correction. If you're in a small room, you're going to have issues with boundary gain, so how close your head is to the wall, things like that. If you can't fit the subs on the floor and still have enough room to walk around, that's not so great. Otherwise, if you can fit them and you want them, you can have them and still get the same benefits that someone with a $500,000 from the ground up purpose-built home theater would realize with the same upgraded subs. They may have a better room treatment. It may have a better acoustic signature, But as far as am I going to notice going from, say the entry level SVS ported sub to their flagship, are you going to get all the same benefits that you would get in a larger room? And the answer is, as I've experienced myself, unequivocally, yes. You have to be careful with your room correction. You have to be very precise with it. And you have to run duels. I know it sounds crazy, but duels become even more vital in a smaller room because you are getting that standing wave effect amplified in a smaller room. When I first got the motorhome and I put a single sub in there just to try it out, I'm like, I screwed up. Like, this was a bad idea. This is not going to work out well. And then I put dual subs in there. It sounded just as good as it did in the house. I had just the same amount of energy that was put in that motorhome that I got inside the room. It's all about the energy that you get. And that's something that I've been honing in on more lately, is that it's not so much about the loudness. It's about the energy, how much you feel, how good that bass guitar sounds, how good those drums hit. It's the realism, and that realism comes from the amount of energy. And that's why a higher wattage sub will deliver more realism and more energy than something like a 350 watt subwoofer might. But again, if you have a PB17 and a PB1000 Pro and you run them together, it's going to sound like two PB1000 Pros. Maybe a little bit more, but it always skews toward the weaker sub, just kind of like a car tire would. Okay. If you've got really cheap tires on the left and amazing performance tires on the right side of your car, your handling won't be great. It's going to be whatever the weakest set of tires is. That's been my experience having played around with it. I've had roughly the same size driver, same size cabinet, but one had 1500 watts, one had 350 watts. It sounded like I had two of the 350 watt subs as opposed to dual 1500 watt subs. I've beat it to death in previous videos, and I'll continue to beat it to death because it does matter that much. If you got a small room and you can't change your living situation, a lot of us can't. I'm so happy. You have no idea. This dedicated theater space is phenomenal, and I plan to make a lot of use out of it and a lot of videos with it. But not everyone is in this situation. And this situation is considered not so great compared to what a lot of guys are running. I'm real happy with what I have here. Now, if you have is this very small room, but you can fit big subs and you want big subs, great, go for it. Do you need them? No, you don't. If you're thinking, oh, I'll just get one flagship unit, that's all I'll really need in a small room. I'm not saying spend twice as much. I'm saying split your budget and get dual matching subwoofers. Subwoofers are like the biggest problem in home theater. Seriously. Subwoofers and bass. There's so many pitfalls. I still have loads and loads of content to make for this channel just for the topic of subwoofers alone. It's that much of a problem. There are that many pitfalls. So when I say please go dual, please go matching dual, and I'm not saying spend twice as much. I'm saying split your budget and get what you can afford and get what makes sense for you. And I do prefer ported over sealed. Ported deep bass subwoofers just sound amazing out of the box. And some of the perceived benefits that people say that sealed subwoofers have, I kind of disagree with, but I digress. This is just the beginnings of this theater. I have not yet run the heights. I got to run the wiring through the walls. There's a lot of things I got to do, but I wanted to get it set up so I could find out really how much of a difference big subs have in a big room versus a smaller room. And I'm in a unique situation to be able to experience that firsthand. I've proven it out a lot, but having the same 2800 watt subwoofers in a very small room and then a very large room with better acoustics, am I noticing that dramatic of a difference? The difference I'm noticing is better acoustics, but the realism and the punch and the kick and that real explosive feeling I get from the flagship subwoofer, I'm still getting. In fact, I think I was getting a little bit better, and I think it has to do with, I think, running the subs inboard, which a lot of people will disagree with. But I think there's more to that. So stay tuned. I'm going to cover that topic and get some furniture sliders and move some stuff around. I am excited about what's to come with this new room. It's dedicated. This is not a shared space. This is not also the living room. This is specifically theater space. I am not limited in what I can do. I don't want to make it obnoxious. I actually want it to look nice. That TV stand, that's not staying. TV is going to be a little different. This room is just going to be all about theater, all about the sound, all about the performance. And yeah, some style, of course, yes, but I'm not limited. I don't have a landlord to say, hey, don't run speaker wire through the wall. I don't have any restrictions like that. I have a lot of support from my fiance. I am very grateful for that. She's been amazing to give me carte blanche on this room, which is a very nice room, to say, hey, this is what you do. This is your room. Do with it what you need to do for the channel. So I can't hate that. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm just excited for what the future is holding. And yeah, this is going to be fun.